This is Weather Center Live. Thanks for joining us for the first hour. I'm meteorologist Chris Warren.
And I'm Jen Carfagno, and we are saying goodbye and good riddance to a very wet month of April. My fingers are still pruned out there. Record-setting in some cases.
And so for so many people, finally drying out. What's going next? Jen Carfagno has that.
All right, so let's take a look at things for you out there. We've got some more rain to talk about, but we're going to go up the coast and talk about what's about to happen for us in the mid-Atlantic. Rain showers for you in Richmond, Virginia. You look at this forecast, it's cloudy and coolish through today, and then showers come back in as we get you into later today. We've been watching things for you. You know, all the rain that we had in Florida yesterday, we've been watching an area of low pressure off the coast of the southeast. As we get into the coming days, the next 2 days, today and tomorrow, we're going to see what happens right there off the coast. So we take a look at things for you here, and we are going to be watching Richmond, Virginia, watching up towards the Delmarva area for some showery and windy type weather. And the reason is there's an area of low pressure just offshore. It's going to stay offshore, but it will be close enough, we think, to throw back a little wind, help throw back a little rain, along with some other things out there here along the coast. So here's what's going on. This is the low that we're talking about. It's an area of low pressure. This is not tropical. Don't get worried about that. But still an area of low pressure near the coast, much like we talk about coastal storms in the northeast, will bring us that north or northeasterly wind. It'll bring us some windy conditions, especially right along the coast, and also some showers out there today into tomorrow. That's the tomorrow forecast. All right, so there's not the only game in town, though. Besides that coastal low, we also have a couple other things to watch here. A little disturbance rolling through the Great Lakes. You saw a little rain this morning, lower Michigan, because of that. And then also we saw a little disturbance I'm keeping an eye on right here through the mid-Atlantic that we'll watch for some shower activity or enhancing the shower activity in the area. So we do have some rain coming in here for the area. It's not going to be warming up. It's not going to be drying out just yet. That's a trend that we'll get into as we get you into the weekend forecast. In the meantime, Chris, after such a busy stretch, are we actually going to go a weekend without thunderstorms? Not completely, but we'll come close. Let's look at Chicago as an example. We're going to keep it dry all weekend, very warm this weekend too, and then the next chance of storms returns Monday and Tuesday. So let's look at what's going on here and what's going to change our pattern. The weekend looks great for so many, but by next week, we're going to be looking for the chance for some thunderstorms. All right, so I think my clicker isn't working this morning. At any rate, we are going to, here we go. Thank you, Brianna. We are going to be watching for a front to drop down here through the Midwest that will bring through the end of the weekend a couple of showers into the area. But by next week, we start to see things going back to our more spring-like pattern with that moist flow returning, winds out of the south. The front gets stalled out right across the Central Plains, low pressure developing right there, and then we'll see our dry line become a factor as well. Very classic springtime setup, and the risk for severe weather ensues along with it. So as we get you into the middle of next week, we will be watching for thunderstorms and potential severe weather. Now we look at Sunday's forecast. It's really just some garden variety kind of thunderstorms. A little more on Monday, though, right along that front. You'll see that from Iowa back down into the Central Plains states. And then by Tuesday, things really do get much more active as we see thunderstorms develop from Kansas all the way down through Oklahoma and into portions. 100 miles from Kathmandu is base camp for the tallest mountain in the world, Mount Everest. And Saturday's earthquake triggered an avalanche that killed at least 18 people on the mountain. NBC's Richard Engel toured the destruction at Mount Everest's base camp. Live, I'm meteorologist Jen Carfagno.
And I'm meteorologist Chris Warren. We are watching some areas drying out. Nice weekend on the way, but there's also that thing we're watching that could emanate from the tropics.
Yes. All right. But you know what? This morning, we got a couple of cities that were away, Chris. So believe it or not, it's going to stop raining in the southeast. You may not believe it. So look at the forecast. Look, we've got sunshine as far as the eye can see in Atlanta starting today and continuing into next week, all the way through next Wednesday. Don't believe it? Yeah. Example, but I know a lot of us are in the same boat here all across the southeast when it comes to how wet it has been in April, and it's been pretty much on the weekends, right? Atlanta, we've had at least a trace of rain for the last 4 weekends, and you really have to go back into March to find a completely dry weekend. More than 2 inches of rain this month fell on either a Saturday or a Sunday. And then you look at this, beautiful. We're gonna get all the soccer games in, all the Little League games in, all across the southeast finally. Festivals will not get rained out this weekend like you've seen over the past couple of weekends throughout the southeast. But for Atlanta specifically, we are now into a top 10 wettest April on record, number 8 on the list, nearly 8 inches of rain. And you see all these days with rain. It is not your imagination. It really was a wet April. So we're looking at, again, a dry stretch coming in, and it's not not just Atlanta. Charlotte, too. We've had a very wet April with here numerous days, in fact, tallying it up to 20 days where you had at least a trace of rain. So one raindrop at least fell on 20 days in the month of April, adding up to more than 6 inches. You, too, have a nice stretch coming in. Sunshine all the way through next Wednesday. It may be May 8th before a lot of folks in the southeast see some showers again. Chris? But no rain. Nope.
No rain.
Yeah.
But it's this time of year you really don't expect to see much. No.
All right. You do expect to see severe weather right here. We're going to get a break this weekend, but we'll tell you when it comes back. Everyone over the weekend. We got the heat in the southwest, and that's been a story lately. A lot of warmth across the west. It's all spreading as a big ridge spreads across first the Intermountain West and the Northern Plains and eventually the Midwest and Minneapolis. Today, tomorrow, above average, but by Saturday and Sunday, we're talking 80s. And even Monday, we are still above average. A little front comes in, but it doesn't do much to cool us down back into the 70s, which is still well above average. This is what's happening. This ridge of high pressure is building and moving east. It's going to help warm us up in North and South Dakota, in Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan. We're all going to warm up with temperatures running about 10 to 15 degrees above average. So Chicago today, you can blame the lake for keeping us cool and that wind coming off the lake. But over the weekend, we got 3 days of 70s coming our way, Chicago. Here we go for Saturday. You start to get up there. Chicago getting up a little bit warmer. Minneapolis, we're in the upper 60s. 70s from Omaha to Kansas City. And for Chicago, finally by Saturday, we will get back into the 70s and we will stay there for a couple of days. Now, speaking of the 70s, it's pretty elusive for one city, isn't it, Chris? We've had a chance before, though. We've come close, so I'm not counting it till we see it on the record books. All right, coming up, we are going to get you into the beginning of the month of May and also the threat for